and Twitch live stream. Tonight is not Spitting Truth with Titus show number 35. Tonight is just a live stream because I have a lot of news to cover. It's been quite a while. Normally I cover a lot of this news in my Spitting Truth with Titus show on Saturday night. However, because I did not have power this past weekend, and because we're dealing with significant censorship issues on YouTube, I was not able to get through my normal broadcast schedule. And it's been a couple days since I've been able to even cover the news. So, with that being said, I have a lot to go through tonight. There's a lot of big things going on right now, and it's good to be back. I now have live streaming software, so I can have a little bit more control, a little bit better live streams here for y'all, so I can put myself on the screen while live streaming, and we can cover the articles and stuff like that. So let's get into what I wanted to cover tonight. Hopefully, so this is broadcasting here live, so you can see the live chat here. My live channel has about 50 subscribers right now, so if you didn't know, I've recreated a channel, Titus Frost 1984. So if you're not there, get over there and start. Okay. And then here is the same thing on Twitch. So it's Titus Frost on Twitch. So if you're watching there, there's a chat room there as well, as you can see here on the right, just like on YouTube. Okay, and I have a couple subscribers on Twitch now. I don't know how many exactly, but a few. So, and I'm also on Periscope. So if you're on Periscope, here's the Periscope. Come on, let's see. There we go. Twitch. So if you're watching on the right. There we go. So there we are in Periscope as well, which is kind of cool. So you can watch it in multiple different places. So we have that. So there you go. With the technology I now have, I can live stream in 3 different platforms. So it's not just live streaming through YouTube anymore. We're live streaming through Twitch and through Periscope. Okay? So YouTube can suck it, basically. And after these videos post, obviously, Untitled broadcast multi-streaming with Restream.io. So, yeah, that's perfect. And you know why? Because that will avoid the YouTube censorship. They'll never have any idea what that's about. So they're not going to be like, oh, it's one of these shows about, Parkland and all that. So hopefully we'll be able to get by the censorship. And I can tell you right now, this broadcast you're watching, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're rewatching it on YouTube, this broadcast is only going to be up until it's 9 p.m. now, so when I finish probably around 10 or 11, it'll be up until 10 or 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then it'll be gone forever. Okay? So don't expect this to last on YouTube too long, because we're going to get into it tonight, and I'm not holding any punches. I'm not going to self-censor myself, okay? So first, let's start off with just a tiny bit of comedy here. So this guy here, The Norm at Truckin' with Norm, did a pretty funny parody video on Twitter, just getting, all types of liberals triggered with this type of talk. And we're going to get into some stuff that they're trying to do to take away our right to defend ourselves. But I thought this was funny. Obviously, this guy is kidding. He's not being serious in this. He's just giving a breakdown of what a liberal probably thinks an assault rifle actually is. So let's go ahead and we'll watch this, and y'all can have a little laugh, and I can smoke a little ganj on here while this is going on. So anyways, here you go. Truckin' with Norm.
To go over the nomenclature, the parts of my ARK-1547 assault gun that y'all hear so much about in the news. So we just move it right to left or left to right. Anyway, it's got a stock and it moves. you know, and that's so you can make the gun shorter when you're getting in and out of the car. And then it's got this select fire lever here thing. It says safe, and it says fire, and that's so you can just shoot it really fast when you put it on the fire thing. It's like fire comes out the end of it. And then it's got this handle, and the purpose of that handle is so like if you get shot like in one of your arms, you know, you can still and shoot the gun. And then it's got like this clip thing that you put bullets in, and it holds like 1,000 bullets, and it'll shoot all of them like in 3 seconds or something. And it's got this sight thing on it, and it's got like this dot in it, this red thing that like locks on your target so you can't miss. And like if somebody's running away from you and you get that dot on them and they run around the corner, that bullet just go around the corner and get them, because it's cool. This pretty got to have one of these, right? And it's got this thing here. I don't know what that is. I think maybe you put extra bullets in it or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just looks
a bullet
cool.
drum.
It looks really cool.
It's 1,000 more bullets.
Like axe thing on the front. That's like when you're like sniping and you're trying to hide and you've got like trees and stuff. You like hack that down, like so you can see the people you're going to shoot at. And then it's got this front thing here. And what that does, it amplifies the sound of the gun. So like if you come through the door really quick and somebody's really close, but you don't get the little dot on them and lock the target on, that like amplifies the sound. It's like boom, and then that sound that sound alone will just knock the person out. So anyway, that's the parts on the old ARK-1547 assault gun. You know, I probably shouldn't own one, honestly, but I was at a gun show and they were giving them out as door prizes, so I took one. And my advice is to get on your computer machine and order one. They'll send it right to your house. Seriously.
Get on your computer machine and order one. Just classic. Absolutely classic. And yeah, I mean, what exactly is an assault weapon? Next time one of these libtards talks about assault weapons, ask them to define what an assault weapon is. Because in states like mine, it's defined by things like, oh, the rifle has a pistol grip, or it has, you know, I mean, just like the suppressor at the end of the barrel, or like, you know, the flash suppressor. I mean, that's what determines something's an assault rifle? Really? Like, okay. And we'll get into some of the legislation they're trying to pass. This completely draconian legislation, okay? So, you know, I just wanted to start off with that because that was kind of funny. Benjamin Turner, 1,000 bullets can't miss. Yeah, exactly. You got the comedy there. And unfortunately, people on Twitter, I was looking at that on Twitter, people there weren't quite understanding the comedy, which I don't understand, but Periscope looks like it's caused me some issues. I'm going to close that. I will go back and look at the comments on Periscope after this broadcast, so your comments will not be in vain. I will see them on Periscope. So we're going to get into the legislation they're trying to pass. Very important stuff. Anonymous Construct, which is another really good anonymous YouTube channel. You should definitely go over and give them a subscription. Made me aware of these bills with this video here. Protests in Washington, D.C. Entire Second Amendment under direct threat. And I couldn't agree more with his analysis of this. This is a direct targeting of the Second Amendment itself. Like, they've already targeted the First Amendment in our country by saying that you're not allowed to offend anyone anymore. And now they're targeting the Second Amendment. And, like, think about, like, one of the only wins we've ever had, really, against the powers that shouldn't be, was Bundy Ranch, right? And how did we actually get a minor victory in that minor little situation? Because they used the First Amendment to document what was going on, to show people, you know, how the government had snipers aimed at the people there. And two, to use the Second Amendment to defend themselves, to ensure that, like, the videotape and their First Amendment was withheld. So In Bundy Ranch, it gave us an exact example of how the First Amendment and the Second Amendment combined can be used to get victories against this deep state run government that we're dealing with here, because those are the most two important natural rights that we have, and the government didn't give us those rights. Those rights are inherent in every person alive. Okay, so the government just recognizes them. It does not grant us those, so it has no right to take those away either. Okay, in fact, the entire point of even having a government is to protect that social contract that we have with them, which is that we have these rights and we're creating a government in order to protect those rights first and foremost. That's why governments exist. Okay, so that's just an important thing to understand. And when they break that contract by violating those rights, then we have the right to rebel, which is, in tons of different political philosophies, including the Declaration of Independence, the document that created our government itself. Okay, so in here he links to 2 bills that are being pushed right now. And also, I believe there's a march, he's saying, on the weekend of April 13th through the 15th in Washington, D.C., to basically oppose these bills and things like that. I highly, highly doubt that I will be able to make that, but I will try to if I can, but I doubt I'll be able to, with everything going on in my personal life right now, being a new father again and all. So, unfortunately, if it was my... if this was my day job, I would be there, like, for sure. But, this is still a hobby of mine. So until I'm a full-time journalist, I just can't go to things like that. But once I am a full-time journalist, you can bet I will be at every one of those types of things. So that's what we're working towards here. And that's what hurts, being set back, being set back to 0 on your subscriber count and things like that. I'm sure there's probably just a few people watching this live, when generally there'd be 1,000 people watching this live on my main channel. So that's how YouTube censors you. They just limit your reach, and that they've done that countless times to my channel since I've been on this platform. When my Clinton body count documentary went viral, hitting 500,000 views in a month or so, they all of a sudden cut the view count off, and it's been at 500 something thousand since then. When the Pizzagate documentary went to 250,000 views right away, and was getting mirrored on other channels, and another channel had 400,000 views, and on another channel had over 100,000 views, not even my channels, just random other YouTube channels took that documentary and mirrored it for me. And I didn't hit them with copyright strikes because I was like, look, the information's what's important here. So what happened there was, when mine got to 250,000 views, YouTube took it down. And they didn't even hit me with a guideline strike that time. They just removed the video. They never said why. They never said it was bullying. They never said anything. And I documented that when that happened. And then they did that to other people's channels as well. Like the one that had 400,000 views on that video, it got axed from that channel as well. And I don't know if they got a content strike or not, but, YouTube, totally did not want that going viral. And that's the problem here, is our little films and documentaries and stuff can go viral and get more views and stuff than the mainstream media, and they can't have that. When they want people to look up search results, I noticed this earlier because I was trying to look up something about Sheriff Israel, and everything I typed in about Sheriff Israel brought me to mainstream media stuff on YouTube now. We can actually do that because it was pretty interesting to see. Let's look Sheriff Israel Zionist, right? That was one of the things I was looking up earlier, just to see if anyone else had done a video on this. And you type that in, those words, those 3 words in a row, and what pops up as your first search results? Just look at this. CNN, Fox News, ABC News, CNN, Vice, AP Archive, I don't know who the Daily Wire is. NBC News, Washington Post, Vice News, Associated Press, USA Today, once again the Daily Wire, whoever that is, and yep, she would show up on the first page, of course, Laura Loomer. And I'm just going to ignore her. I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm just going to move on and just point out that she's up there in the same search results as all of the mainstream media and, Zionist rebel media. So there you go, Laura Loomer. I wonder why she gets so many views. It was funny, I was looking through Crowdsource the Spoofs, and them I'm not laying off. I was looking through one of their recent videos, and someone said, it's interesting, I've never heard of this channel, but it kept getting shoved in my recommended feed. I wonder why YouTube would be promoting Crowdsource the Spoof. It's interesting. Interesting to see those types of comments from people saying that Crowdsource the Truth, despite them never having watched a video, is being put into their recommended feeds. Reminds me of like when I had lots of traffic on my videos and I'd constantly get these like bots putting stuff about, hey, check out George Webb's work. Check out George Webb. Check out George Webb. Check out George Webb. All the time in the comment sections and like every video, despite the video having nothing to do about him. Interesting how that works, how these certain characters in this YouTube game get free promotion from YouTube and all these like troll accounts and stuff. Anyways, this is your result for Israel Zionist, is all mainstream media stuff, so you can be sure to know what they're going to tell you about that, which is nothing at all, right? They're not going to tell you anything about how, Sheriff Israel quoted from the Talmud, and how the Talmud is a satanic document that says Jesus Christ is burning in hell and promotes pedophilia. So there you go. And if you're watching this, what is it? ADL, is that the new Trusted Flaggers on YouTube? You can go look it up. It does say that stuff in the Talmud. Facts are facts. 2 + 2 = 4. Okay? Just go look it up yourself. Don't make me do it for you. Use this thing called Google and Google it. Okay, flaggers. Hate to be a dick, but, you guys are assholes and only a dick can fuck an asshole. So, there you go. We're going to get back to that bill in a minute. There's some pretty important stuff going on. But since we just had a laugh, I figured we'd go with this one next because I thought this was pretty funny stuff here. So I might shrink my face down a little bit so you guys get a better view of this. See if I can pull it up. And hold on. Please. I can't tell if I lost everybody when I did that, so I'll just play it at this size. I don't know. When I watch the rebroadcast of this, or maybe someone can tell me, when I go full screen, can you guys see it? Let's see. When I went full screen there, can you guys see it? Let's see if anyone in the chat can give me an answer. Benjamin Turner, still the only one watching. No, 2 people are watching now. We're breaking records here on YouTube. 2 people watching in the live stream. That's right. Thank you, YouTube. I probably have more people watching on Twitch. I don't know. Do we? I can't tell. I have no idea how Twitch works. Sweet. But yes, Benjamin Turner is still here. Yes, my biggest fan. Thank you, Benjamin Turner. One of 2 people supposedly watching the Titus Frost live stream. This is where I've been put on YouTube. The small little corner of conspiracy where no one can find me. Exactly where the powers that shouldn't be want me. Thank God this will be rebroadcast on DTube and BitChute where thousands of people will see it. Other than Benjamin Turner, who's here, and like I've always said, if I wake one person up with the information, it's better than none. So, Benjamin, you are my guy tonight. Okay, so we're going to get through all the tweets. I'm going to go through my whole Twitter thing, but here's the video I wanted to show everybody, and everyone watching the rebroadcast of this will also find this funny, but this right here is absolutely hysterical to me, so...
Oh, that was the best joke.
I'm partly playing this to prove that the law of gravity does actually exist, and it's the only law that police actually abide by. So, to all those people that think gravity doesn't exist, proof that it does is it's the only law that cops abide by. So there you go. This one's awesome. Oh man, that one right there definitely hurt. Like that guy definitely went on a paid vacation along with this guy. Oh my god, dude. You got wrecked. The FBI. This is the best because this just shows... Wait, hold on. We gotta see that one again. Here's your FBI right here. Yeah, this is your typical FBI. This is how good they are at their job right here. Okay, this sums up the Las Vegas investigation. This sums up about, you know, every investigation the FBI has ever been involved in. You know, a whole lot of show for a whole lot of no results. On that apartment building, now the media has just classic, absolutely classic. So I get a kick out of stuff like that. I don't know if anyone else does, but I find it funny. So therefore, it's on my channel, and I get to put up whatever I want. So. Okay, now getting into the long, sorted list of extremely serious things we have to cover tonight. New Clinton State Department emails have strange references to Rothschild's penance and Clinton's hits. Okay, so this was put up by Reality Reader, who's also on Steemit, at Reality Reader. So definitely go over and check out his DTube Steemit stuff. And in the article here he wrote, U.S. Department of State today released a new batch of deleted emails from former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, included heavily redacted correspondence between several Clinton allies, including Huma Abedin, Cheryl Mills, and Linda Rothschild, among others. Some possible highlights from the newly released documents include one mysterious document with the label Secretary Clinton's Greatest Hits. It has no apparent date, sender, or receipt. With the page below left entirely blank, it's unclear whether the message contents have been redacted or left intentionally blank as a possible inside joke at Clinton's expense. More ominously, others have suggested the message could be a code about a potential hit list in reference to the rumored Clinton body count made of political opponents. And when I looked at it, see, I get it as sort of, you know, Secretary Clinton's greatest hits. So what I think they're trying to say here is, like, the reason... How do I put this? How do I articulate this properly? It's like saying your hit list is empty, but but also just like unnamed. Do you know what I mean? Like, these people vanished because of her. Her greatest hits are all gone. You know what I mean? Like, every one of them's just missing. Suicided, vanished from the record book. Just a void in history. An unsolved mystery. One of her greatest hits. And you can't even technically define which hits are her greatest hits, because you don't know for sure which ones to put on the Clinton body count and which ones just to put on the CIA count, or, you know, what level of direct involvement she had in some of those, you know, quote unquote suicides, right? So it's an interesting one to me, especially as someone who put together the Clinton body count documentary. That's how I sort of see that right there. That's how I take that, is it's a message about the Clinton body count. That's how I see that. That's my interpretation. You can take your own interpretation if you want. That's, you know, speculation for sure. So if you have another, you know, version of that, let me know. Let's see. Window capture. It should be on the... let me just make sure. Okay, the chat's up. Just make sure that this is actually loading properly. Why is it still showing that? Me window capture. Okay. That. And then shrink it for everybody. I don't know why the last one froze or something. I want you guys to be able to actually see what I'm showing you here. So there we go. This is what I'm referencing now. I don't know why that other one did what it did. Yes, remove that. Okay, so now I think you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. So this is the article again. It's by Reality Reader here. Okay, so, and as you scroll down, this is the thing I'm referencing here, the Clinton's greatest hits thing. That's blank. Okay, just so that y'all see that. Another user had highlighted this email showing Clinton directing her own staff department staff on which potentially secret email address to use in contacting Sidney Blumenthal, who's at the time banned from working in the department. More recently, in February 2018, Trey Gowdy said that Blumenthal was also one of the sources Chris Steele used in gathering information for the controversial dossier used by opposition against President Trump. Okay. And you can see down here, highlighted, Jake, I spoke with Sid. He would be happy to see you at his house, which is in Georgetown, right where, you know, Georgetown University is, which is where John Podesta went, and Georgetown's a big Jesuit university. In about an hour, I hope you can use that email address. I've used that, connect on the details. Thanks so much. Sid, look forward to talking to you later. Here's correspondence between Tony Blair and Hillary. So you can see here, Lynn, I was trying to reach you to tell you and Teddy that I asked Tony Blair to go to Israel as part of our full court press on keeping the Middle East negotiations going. He told me that he had a commitment in Aspen with you two and the conferences, but after we talked, he decided to go and asked me to tell you. He is very sorry, obviously, but I'm grateful that he accepted my request. Hope you all understand and can give him a rain check. So you can see that. That was two Rothschild there from Hillary. Continues on. you're interested, you might be able to satellite in if you have the technology available. You should land around 5 p.m. Aspen. Let me know what penance I owe you, and please explain to Teddy as ever, H. Hillary. Okay, so penance. Why is she talking about owing people penance? Okay, interesting. Oh, disclaimer. Warning, this email is only intended for the corrupt individuals who were sending it to and from each other, hoping that it would remain confidential and not be leaked to the public, because if leaked to the public, we might take a look at it and find very interesting statements that would lead us to believe that Hillary Clinton's as corrupt as humanly possible, based on her own friggin' emails. Is that what the disclaimer said? I'm pretty sure that's what the disclaimer said. 2 HDR22 from Jake.Sullivan. Tony, message delivered. Please read all the way down. Also, I'm copying Jake Sullivan because I've asked him to arrange a call with you once you land so you can be fully briefed before seeing BN. We're fast-moving... Sorry, the type's really small. We're in a fast-moving train, changing direction every hour, but determined to reach our destination. Thanks again for jumping into action this week. It's great having you on the team. All the best, H-Dog. We, of course, understand... Personally, thank you for reaching out to us. It's a big loss for the weekend, but as you know, it does not add up to a hill of beans. You are the best, and we remain your biggest fans. Sweet dreams and Godspeed with everything you are doing, Lynn. And this is, just further documenting the connection here between Linda Rothschild, Hillary Clinton, and, obviously this weird corrupt stuff going on between them. Them talking about owing penance to the Rothschilds. So that's pretty damning, I would say, when you have Hillary Clinton, a U.S. government official, saying she owes penance to a private foreign individual. And I don't care what you call Linda Rothschild, she's a globalist. She's not an American. I don't care what she tries to pretend she is. So... Okay, so I just wanted to cover that because I thought that was important. There was a story put up by the Activist Post, Aaron Kessel. I thought it was pretty good. And mainstream media has gone off the deep end, basically trying to blame Russia for all of the talk of how GMOs are bad and how guns are good. Like, they literally are trying to blame common sense on Russia. It's pretty unbelievable, and I guess it's what we can expect from these people nowadays, but it is what it is, I guess. So, and there you go. There's the Putin himself, and I guess he's behind everyone in America that thinks GMOs are bad, and everyone in America that thinks the Second Amendment is a good thing, is basically a Russian bot. So if you don't have a Russian bot shirt yet, you can definitely get one of those. We'll get into where you can get one of those from. Lift the Veil sells those. I don't know where he sells them, but he sells Russian bot shirts. So if you want to sport a Russian bot shirt because you think GMOs are bad, then go over to the Lift the Veil guy and get yourself one, all right? So, I thought this was interesting. Senor David Hedgehog here, you can't even put up his own words, I guess. And I saw this thing too. And, Senor Hedgehog here basically just swears a lot, dropping the F-bomb a whole bunch of times, which is actually a community guidelines strike. I don't know if you knew that, but swearing in a YouTube video is no. You're not allowed to do that. They will hit you with the community guidelines strike. I've seen people from Google in comment sections of videos telling content creators that profanity is something that they look for. And it's interesting to me that he's allowed to go on there and swear and cuss and all that, but we aren't. Talk about a double standard. And I would bet you that that hog video is still probably monetized. So there's that as well. Interesting. Very interesting, YouTube. Sort of burying yourself in bullshit here, because it's so obvious that you're allowing one side of the argument to talk while the other side's not allowed to say a goddamn thing. Okay? And unfortunately for you, I'm live streaming on 2 other platforms right now, so even if you cut this live stream on YouTube, I don't care. The stream will continue. The information will continue. No one cares. YouTube doesn't have a monopoly on video platform. It just doesn't. Okay? There's other video platforms. They can't stop us from spreading this information, telling people the truth. And no amount of strikes will force me to self-censor myself. I'll just keep live streaming with 1 or 2 people watching on new channels I keep creating, just so that I can keep breaking through the information matrix that YouTube is trying to create, which is why I said that whole thing at the very beginning of my channel, spit and truth causing glitches in the matrix. I'm literally causing YouTube to change its algorithms and censor myself, because the information I'm putting out there is waking too many people up. So that's exactly, I'm doing exactly what I want. I'm being very effective at it, and we're waking up more people than they can handle. So that's why they're censoring us. It's their last thing they have. They demonetized us. They tried to restrict our view counts, and now all they have left is to censor us because they've lost. Because the truth, defends itself. All you have to do is let it out, and it'll defend itself and spread like wildfire. So, moving on. LTV also had a very, very good interview with Wolfgang Halbig I'd like to bring your attention to. It's been posted here on Steemit, so please go ahead and here's the Russian bot t-shirt he sells, which I actually think is kind of cool. So go over and get yourself a Russian bot shirt, and give him an upvote on his work here. It doesn't cost you anything to go over and follow these different people on Steemit and on DTube, and it really helps us all out, because lift the veil, the more money he earns on Steemit, the more he can upvote me as well, and the more money I earn on Steemit, the more I can upvote him. So it's this giant snowball rolling downhill, as long as we all keep building up our Steam power so that we can all help each other out. Okay, and I've been building up my Steam power for quite some time to be able to do that for people. And, it's been great. YouTube silences me, but I have Steemit there, I don't lose a step. So that's what I would say to other content creators, is to get on Steemit now and start building up your audience. Don't wait for the day YouTube takes your channel away. Okay? Do what I did and get on there way before that happens. And get on all the other video platforms before that happens, and save all of your hard drives, your videos, to external hard drives, like encrypted external hard drives, and your own servers and stuff. Don't put it on Google's whatever and think it's going to be safe. That's crazy. I never did that. Why? Because Google was never supposed to be trusted in the first place. So I never trusted them with my video files. I have every single video I've ever done, even all the ones I just live streamed from my car. When I got back, I downloaded them and saved them. So I have everything. So I haven't lost anything. Google can try to memory hole information, but it still exists. Still exists. Because I wasn't dumb enough to trust Google in the first place. But anyways, Wolfgang Halbig, he actually worked in the Parkland school district, or Broward County, sorry. And, he blew apart the whole thing, basically stating how there should be, video camera footage of the guy walking in with all this equipment. Obviously, the whole story about how... let's pull this up right now, because, I mean, this is just totally ridiculous to me. Parkland shooter took Uber to school. Okay? This is the ridiculous narratives that they try to push on us and call us, like, literally stupid to our face. Okay? Cruz told the Uber driver to take him to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, about 10 to 15 minutes southwest of where he was living. So they want us to believe that this guy loaded up with all these weapons, an AR-15 and all this, and a bunch of ammo, and then showed up there after taking an Uber, showed up at the school and shot the school up. Okay? And I'm pretty sure the Uber driver would have noticed this. The Liberty columnist, I believe, does like some part-time Uber driving. I'm pretty sure he would notice if someone got in his car with an AR-15, which you're not allowed to bring into an Uber car. Like, you're not allowed to have weapons in an Uber car. So how did the guy get through with weapons in his car? Right? Like, come on. All right, so let's go to some of the evidence that there was multiple gunmen on the scene. And another thing I saw, and I did want to get into, is there was an eyewitness report of a teacher. Let's see. Parkland teacher sees shooter in armor. Okay? So this lady's saying that the shooter was wearing full body armor. Okay, and remember the story is Parkland teacher. Okay, this is a teacher at the school. I'm not making this stuff up. Okay, this isn't me just like grasping at straws. And I know this is on whatever, InfoWars or whatever, but, they identify, and this was on, an actual mainstream media. Was it Good Morning America? Okay. So this is on there. Okay. So this is her eyewitness report. And yes, I have every right to play this type of thing and criticize it. Okay. So the official story is the shooter, who the FBI was already in contact, already was aware of before this whole thing took place, by the way, somehow brought an AR-15, a whole bunch of ammo, and more weapons, whatever. I don't even know all the weapons they're claiming, through Uber, shot up the school, and then somehow walked out of the school with the rest of the students without them seeing him in any armor or body gear or with any weapons or smelling of, cordite or whatever. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, all of this doesn't make sense. And then you have this eyewitness report of the shooter as being someone dressed up in full body armor. So let's just hear what this teacher has to say. Is an eyewitness report.
As students filed into the hallway, she heard gunfire. The killing had begun.
I was about 2 feet away from my door. All of a sudden I heard gunshots in the stairwell, which is about 20 feet away from my room. And then kids were screaming and then running back towards me and towards the end of the hallway. So I just went in this very strange autopilot mode where I pivoted on my feet. I unlocked my door, and then kids just started pouring in my room. I don't know how many kids were in there, but I was pulling them and getting them in and shouting at them to get in the room. And then I suddenly saw the shooter about 20 feet from me, standing at the end of the hallway, actively shooting down the hallway, just a barrage of bullets. And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before. I don't know when I decided it was the right time to close the door. I grabbed the handle with both hands, and that's when I got nicked, or grazed, or whatever you call it.
So a bullet hit your arm?
Yes. As I'm closing my door, I'm shouting at my next door neighbor, Mr. Scott Beagle, to close this door. And he's the kind of man that would just keep that door open a little longer. You know, he's all about the kids, you know, but he couldn't see the shooter. I had a good visual of him, which is why I yelled at him to shut his door now.
35-year-old teacher Scott Beagle among the 17 murdered on Marjorie Stoneman Douglas's campus.
Okay, and the first thing is, I would like to say, you know, I do think that these people did pass away. I do think that these people died, okay? And I would like to express my condolences to their loved ones and, you know, just wish, you know, my prayers for them and all of that, because I think what we have here is, unfortunately, a false flag, which means people did actually die, okay? So the people that are the auto hoaxers and all this, you know, those people have not helped us in this truth community at all, okay? And you can get mad at me as much as you want for saying this, but this one was a false flag, and these people really did die, and the evidence points there being multiple shooters, which means some of the people that are guilty of murdering these people are still at large. The fact that the media is not willing to cover that is scary, okay? And you guys can go on the TV and cry and put on your little dog and pony show, but there's plenty of evidence to suggest that this Nicholas Cruz character was not the person who conducted the shooting here, including an eyewitness report of a teacher seeing what looks like a, you know, as she just described, full metal armor, you know, what looks like a police officer to her shooting down the hallway and even hitting her in the arm. So what I'd like to say at this point is, during the Columbine massacre, there were hundreds of witnesses that said there was more than 2 shooters, okay? And that was the first one of these big mass shootings that I can remember. And every one of these shootings, it seems like to me, we have multiple witnesses claiming that there were multiple shooters. So why can we not get a proper investigation into what eyewitnesses and victims are stating is what took place? Pretty damning. I mean, you want to talk about not speaking for the victims? What about for the ones that are claiming that there was multiple shooters there? What about the reports that the shooter was hearing voices in his head? And how many shooters throughout history have heard voices in their head before conducting one of these attacks? Think of the Navy Yard shooter. And go back through history, you can find countless examples of this. There's a great series called Programmed to Kill, Satanic Cover-Up. And in that, it documents how countless serial killers had this exact type of thing going on. Okay? So, and they all have connections to the military or stuff like the FBI, you know, prior contact with intelligence agencies before these things took place or while they were taking place, okay, or to the military. So that's pretty damning stuff, and we see that continuously here. And then one of the main spokespeople, the Sonic the Hedgehog character, he happens to be the son of an FBI agent, ex-FBI agent. Right. You know, once again, the FBI have their fingers all over this. Okay? So, anyways, here's a video by Morphonius on DTube. So if you haven't gone over and seen this yet on DTube, please do. But this is stunning evidence that the Florida shooting was carried out by multiple gunmen. Okay? So what were we just talking about? This exact thing, right? So let's go ahead and watch this video together.
Here's some news that you won't hear on YouTube. Bombshell confirmed Broward County deputies were ordered to stand down. Then all radio communications were cut off while the shooting continued. This was posted by Mike Adams, who is known as the Health Ranger.
Oh, interestingly, may I point out, Blackstone Intelligence has been removed from YouTube, and the Health Ranger has been removed from YouTube. So, interesting how two of the people leading the legitimate investigation into a false flag event have been wiped, memory holed, by the Gestapo over there called Google.
Read this article to you. A major media bombshell is now confirming the shocking truth that Natural News first reported. Deputies were ordered to stand down and avoid entering the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School even as the shooting was taking place. This irrefutable fact has been maliciously labeled a conspiracy theory by the fake news media, but now it is confirmed by multiple sources, as is usually the case after the fake news media gets it wrong. Laura Ingram is now reporting on Fox News. Our sources near the Broward County Sheriff's Department are telling us that the deputies who arrived at the scene of the shooting were told not to enter the school unless their body cameras were turned on. And then we found that the deputies did not have body cameras, so they did not enter the building or engage a shooter. So curiously, police also lost radio communications during the Parkland shooting, and our source claims that radio communication also went dead during the Fort Lauderdale airport shooting of 2017. And you guys can check out the Laura Ingram show if you want to see that. Breaking: Broward County Sheriff's deputies were reportedly told not to enter the school during the shooting unless they had body cameras on. Mike Adams continues, in other words, not only were the deputies ordered to stand down, but the communications outage seems to be a pattern among false flag shooting operations carried out.
Let's go past this. I'm going to skip ahead a little
helmet, face mask.
Okay, so he plays the video here I just played for y'all, where she's describing, the police officer she saw shooting down the hallway, basically, or a person who looks like police officer. Clearly not someone that would have been able to take an Uber to the school, okay? That's what she's describing. And clearly not someone that would have been able to walk out with the rest of the students.
Bulletproof armor, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before.
Okay, and that's another thing. Never seen before. A rifle she's never seen before. Raise your hand. Even the libtards have seen the AR-15 at this point. It's been so demonized in their culture of libtard-like world that even they know what that thing looks like by now. So she's saying she's never seen this type of rifle before. Okay, that would be probably, I don't even know what type of gun that would be that she wouldn't have seen before, but I'm guessing, it wouldn't have been an AR-15 or like an AK-47. Anyone that's seen any action movie in history has seen those two guns, basically. Okay, so that's probably not what she's describing there. Or like an MP5. Lots of people have seen those too. So probably not something simple like that.
To go outside so they could start shooting up. So they started shooting from the first floor up, because there's only 2 exits in the freshman building, so everybody started running to the other exits. That's when the other shooters started coming up. So everybody, and then I thank God to this teacher who opened up her door, and like all of us, she got shot in the arm trying to open the door, and then the other teacher, he got shot in the head trying to cut the other students.
I don't know when I decided it was the right time to close the door. I grabbed the handle with both hands, and that's when I got nicked, or grazed, or whatever you call it.
So a bullet hit your arm?
Yes. As I'm closing my door, I'm shouting at my next-door neighbor, Mr. Scott Beagle, to close this door. And he's the kind of man that would just keep that door open a little longer.
It was like an hour, it felt like years waiting for him.
And I heard him continuously shooting down the hallway. And I never really knew when he left because we just thought he was still there. it was so quiet. And then all of a sudden I hear helicopters outside, far, far in the distance, it seemed to me. Police officers far, far in the distance. Kids were screaming in the hallway for help. We're trained not to let anybody in the room. And I would say a good 45 minutes went by, maybe an hour. And when we heard the SWAT team come on the floor, but I still didn't trust that it was them because they were banging on the doors. Police let us in. No one got up.
And after all that, we finally got out, and like they started yelling at us to keep focused and to pay attention ahead, the army, because they didn't want us to see the bodies that they hid in the corner. They were putting mats over them so we wouldn't see them, but there was dust all over the floor from like this weird thing they threw in there. They were trying to.
So you think there was more than? Do you think there was more than one?
There's 3 shooters. Definitely.
How terrifying. Hold on one second now. How terrifying.
It was pretty damn terrifying because they were putting us through drills and we all thought this was a drill. We thought this was a drill, but it wasn't. And then we just started hearing the gunshots. And it was really terrifying because my class, the class I ran into, he started shooting through the door and he came through and he started shooting the cabinets and that's when he shot the teacher. And then he ran back outside to shoot the other teacher who was closing the other door for the kids. But he didn't get to close the door and he was just there. And so we were all just sushing each other like, shut up, just suck it up, we were crying because we're not trying to get shot. Because he was in the hallway yelling, hey, hey, trying to taunt us and get us to say things, trying to get us outside. And that's when some other kid, like, he ran out because he thought it was free, but he got shot and then we heard the groaning outside. And we couldn't do anything.
Well, so the shooter, tell me, besides, hey, what was he saying during
He wasn't doing anything. He was legit, he just ran up the stairs, started shooting, and you could see a bunch of kids just going down that way, but stopping, but because the other shooters had. So everybody was screaming and stuff? Everybody was trampling each other, because they were like, hey, do you hear that loud banging sound? And we all thought it was like some kid joking on the stairwell because they're hollow, so you could just hit a stick and it sounds like it. But then we all were like, oh, this is real, so we all just started running. It was really...
Now, one student told me that the shooter was wearing a bulletproof vest and a helmet. Did you see that?
I saw some other kid. When the other kid who came into the classroom, he was wearing some type of thing, and I don't know. But it was like I froze at that moment because you never know. Because when the gun is like pointed towards you and everything, you don't know what to do, and you kind of just like pause and it's like, is this actually gonna happen? But I felt like he was going after all the teachers because a bunch of teachers got shot, and any of the kids who were in the way, they got shot.
What happened was the fire drill rang, so we all thought it was fire. We already had a drill today, so we're like, it's another drill. So we don't take it seriously. But then we hear pop, and from the other side of the school, we just see the whole school running out. So we heard multiple, what you believe were multiple gunfire shots. Yeah. And you said there was a drill today of some sort, and because of that, today was a normal fire drill like that. Normally we just one every month. And we were just assuming it's that one, but then the second drill went off in my class. We just all assumed that it was a normal drill. But as we were walking out, we started hearing like pop shots, and no one seemed to be worried at first. People thought that it was just another like intense drill. They told us about a drill before where they were going to be shooting blank. So we heard the shots like, hey, it's just that drill.
I actually was in the bathroom at the moment, and I came back to my classroom and I knocked on the door. And the fire alarm went off, and principal came on the speaker and just said, everyone needs to evacuate right now. So that's what we did. As I was going down the stairs, I heard a couple shots fired. Everyone was freaking out, saying that it was a gun. And as we were walking, the whole class together, I actually was speaking to the suspect, Nicholas Cruz. And as I was speaking to him, he seemed very, I don't know what the word I want to say is, but he was trouble in middle school, so I kind of joked to him about it and said, I'm surprised you weren't the one who did it, and he just gave me a huh? So that's really what happened.
You were walking down the hall, he had already fired at that time?
Yes, sir, with him.
Weren't you scared?
In the moment I wasn't, because there was definitely another shooter involved, but...
Oh, you think he was not the only one?
No, definitely not.
Why do you say that?
Because when shots were fired, I saw him after the fact. So, and the shots were coming from the other part of the building, so there definitely had to be 2 shooters involved, I believe.
That's the first I've heard of that.
All right, so one thing I'm going to say about this girl's little testimony here, and, you know, I don't want to call her a straight out liar, but the thing here about it is she keeps looking, when she's talking about walking out with Cruz, she keeps looking up and to the right, which is like a telltale sign of someone making stuff up. Like maybe she's sensationalizing that part of the story. So maybe she saw him on the way out or something, and then she turned that into, you know, having seen him on the way out, walking out, to she was walking next to him to make it sensationalized. But then when she starts talking about the multiple shooter thing at the end, she starts looking either straight ahead or just up and to the left a little, up and to the right a little bit. Up and to the right is accessing memory, supposedly. And up and to the left is accessing creative side, which would be lying. So basically, from my little take on what she's saying here is she's, you know, creating a little bit of a lie regarding to her probably talking to Cruz. That probably never happened. But the multiple gunman thing, I think she's being honest about. That's just my take of this.
Do you see any other students who were wounded?
No, sir.
And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor.
The article continues. Notice that she immediately recognizes him as a police officer wearing police gear. She specifically names the helmet, face mask, and bulletproof armor. None of this gear was worn by Nicholas Cruz, according to all the media reports, photos, and videos of his arrest. Stacy did not describe this shooter as a student. In other words, this teacher is not describing Nicholas Cruz. She's describing an armed, masked, geared-up person during the shooting. Now are you beginning to understand why the sheriff's deputies were ordered to stay outside the building? In truth, this shooting was augmented by at least one masked gunman other than Nicholas Cruz. The deputies were told to stand down so that they didn't witness the second shooter. Nicholas Cruz very likely also shot some students himself, but it's clear from the testimony and cover-up that Cruz did not act alone. No wonder YouTube is desperately deleting all videos that mention a second shooter. If the truth came out, the fake official story would completely unravel. That's why I'm launching a new video platform to compete with YouTube, by the way. And we can...
Okay, so that's the video by Jake Morphonius, and basically the point I wanted to get at there is we both conclude the same thing, and that is that Cruz did not act alone. And there's definitely reports of multiple shooters involved. Okay? So, with that being the case, any responsible journalist would point out that the other shooter is still at large. And if you want to actually get justice for the victims of Parkland, then it would behoove you to point out the fact that there was a second shooter involved, as that's what the eyewitness testimony would indicate. And since we don't have any video evidence to refute that, which they could provide to us according to Wolfgang Halbig, then we have nothing to refute that evidence of multiple shooters. So if they'd like to debunk that by releasing the footage of the shooter, proving to us that he did act alone, they could even redact any scenes of violence like they did in Columbine. But, you know, in Columbine you did once again have hundreds of people report more than 2 shooters involved, and that video was highly redacted. So maybe that isn't the answer in this case. I don't know. Maybe the answer is that we can't trust the FBI, and we just can't trust the FBI, so we have to investigate this ourselves. Okay? So, moving along. One interesting thing I saw was was this. I don't know if I'll be able to find it easily with this search. No, I'm not going to be able to find it. I don't know. It's unfortunate. Hopefully it's in my Twitter feed. But there's a video of them removing a body bag, it looks like, out the back of Parkland. Okay, so hopefully I can find that later. Unfortunately, I can't find it right this second. Okay, so before we get back into the Parkland stuff, I just wanted to show you this article here. Scroll down. Okay, and the article basically describes all of what I'm about to show you here. And basically, it's the Greater Israel Plan shown in how they're going to do it to Syria. So what they want to do is they want to break Syria into 3 pieces. And that way you'd have southern Syria in this green area here, which would be basically, you know, the Russia-controlled Syria. And then up here you'd have Sunni northern Syria, which would be like, you know, the Western powers in Israel taking that over. And then you'd have autonomous Kurdish region up here, which would be like the payback for the Kurds for them helping U.S. forces out with the invasion of Syria. So they're going to give them like a Kurdish region, not a country, just a like area. Since they're nomads, they probably don't even care. So that's basically what their plan is, to destroy the country of Syria and rip it into 3 regions. So, and that's all part of the Greater Israel Project. And that's been documented here in this really good article that goes way into more depth on this whole thing and how this has all been planned out and all that. So definitely go and check that out. It's by a guy named Syriana Analysis, and it's called The Plan Smashing of Syria. So I thought it was a really good article. I forgot to follow him, but now I just did. And it's by Jochen Mitschka, I guess. So I thought it was a really good article. You should go check it out if you're interested in Syria and like why it's been ripped in half and why they're trying to do this and all that. I read through the whole thing. I just wanted to break it down for you because it gets really in depth. And that's basically, you know, what it's all about. So there's that. Okay, so here is the bill that they're trying to pass. Okay, so this is serious shit right here. Okay, so unfortunately, this right here, it's called HR 5087. Okay, and it's, you know, just looking at these names, like, look at these names of these people. Okay, these are the people that signed this thing in. Like, look at this. Like, Miss Wasserman Schultz. February 26, 2018. She's still signing documents for the American government and not rotting in some cell somewhere. How is that possible? Maxine Waters is on this thing. Like, you might as well take this list here and call this the traitor list. Okay? If your name is on this, you're a traitor to America. You're a traitor to the Second Amendment. You don't belong in our House of Representatives. You belong anywhere but there. You clearly can't read. Okay? The Second Amendment isn't that hard. It says, shall not be infringed. I don't understand how that's so hard to understand. Shall not be infringed. Not kind of, sort of, maybe, well, if something bad happens, no. shall not be infringed. Not infringed because of reasons. I don't care what your reasons are. If someone wants to put a nuclear missile silo in their backyard, according to the Second Amendment, that should be allowed. Okay? And here's the thing. Just say you're like one of these staunch, like, oh, America is like the greatest place ever. Like, why would I ever want to overthrow my own government? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. I'll give you that one. America is the greatest country on planet Earth. Easily. Easily. Okay? Yet, why would you want to overthrow your government? Fine. Let's say that's not why you need the Second Amendment. Let's say you need it because an actual Red Dawn situation takes place, and the mainstream media has been hyping all this Russia nonsense for like well over a year now. So let's use it against them in their own argument. Okay? What if Russia actually did invade America? Ooh. Imagine the scared ass fucking liberals then. I mean, you thought they were scared when it was bots. Imagine if there was an actual Russian invasion. Holy crap, they would probably just spontaneously combust. Okay? However, for the ones that didn't spontaneously combust at the sight of Russians, we would be left with assault rifles that have 10 rounds in their magazine to fight against the Russian army. Have you ever seen that movie Red Dawn? Remember what gave the Russian military so much problems in that movie? It was the fact that there was a whole bunch of Americans with guns. Remember what the Japanese said about us? I forget which one of them, might have been their general or their emperor, said about America and about possibly invading America in World War II. There would be a gun behind every blade of grass in our country. So it's not a good idea, basically, to invade America, because you can't. Because all of us have guns. There's 70 million armed Americans. Our military has, a couple 100,000 probably well-trained, armed, soldiers. There's 70 million armed Americans. So one of the biggest deterrents to any foreign invading country is the fact that we are armed with the Second Amendment, and we have all these quote-unquote assault rifles, whatever the hell that means. And no liberal could possibly define what that actually means because they don't know. So that's one of the best arguments against them, is the fact that you need it not only for defense of yourself against a tyrannical government, but against a invading government, and if you just look at that type of situation, then obviously you would need as much firepower as possible to be able to defend yourself against a foreign military. Okay, so there's that argument, and that argument hasn't gone away because, the mainstream media likes to constantly push that there's this Cold War thing going on with Russia. So as long as they want to push that nonsense to increase their military spending budget, we can use that same stupid argument against them to say we need our Second Amendment rights. Sorry, that's how it works. You guys want to push bullshit, we'll use it right back at you. Okay, so here's the bill, and it's being cited as the assault weapons ban of 2018. Okay? So, this is basically not a ban of assault weapons. The way I'm reading this is basically a ban of our Second Amendment rights. Okay? So, this is direct violation of the Second Amendment. If I was a Supreme Court judge, I would rule that this is unconstitutional. Unfortunately, I'm not a Supreme Court judge. Definitions. Section 921A of Title 18 United States Code is amended by inserting after paragraph the following. The term semi-automatic pistol means any repeating pistol that utilizes a portion of the energy of firing cartridge to the exact fired cartridge case and chamber of the next round and requires separate pull of the trigger to fire each cartridge. So They're banning semi-automatic pistols. This isn't just semi-automatic rifles, okay? They're coming for your pistols. Like, they want my, my pistols. No. No, you're not getting the rifles. You're not getting my pistols. You're not getting anything. No. 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 No, 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 no. No, over my goddamn dead body am I giving any of this shit up. Okay? I don't care what bullshit they pass. I'll fight this shit all the way to the Supreme Court. This is fucking ridiculous. Term semi-automatic shotgun. So they're going to ban shotguns. Term semi-automatic assault weapon means any following regardless country manufacturer accepted, blah, 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 blah. And here's how they define what an assault rifle is, because they don't know what the hell it actually is, because such thing does not exist. A pistol grip. A forward grip. A folding, telescoping, or detachable stock. A grenade launcher or rocket launcher. What the? Yeah, I mean, last time I was at the store, I saw a grenade launcher available to attach to an AR-15. Like, that's a thing now. I can't believe they even put that in there. A barrel shroud. A threaded barrel. A threaded barrel. Semi-automatic rifle that has a fixed magazine capacity with the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds, except for an attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating with 22 caliber rimfire ammunition. So they're banning anything that can take more than 10 rounds. Semi-automatic pistol that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine in any one of the following. It's just semi-automatic pistol with fixed magazine that has capacity to accept more than 10 rounds. I mean, come on. Look at this list they're trying to pass here. All the following rifle copies, duplicates, varies, or alternate or altered facsimiles, whatever that means, with the capacity of any such weapon thereof. All AK types. All what? What? Is she not allowed to own an AK-47? Like, were they fucking crazy? No. No, absolutely not. No. Not a chance in hell. That's not acceptable. That's like the most useful gun on the planet. Why would they ban the American people from having that to defend themselves? That's just crazy. That right there shows you they hate us. This government hates us. Okay? Like, why would they want to ban that? Why? Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. None of these shootings have even taken place with an AK. All AR types. All AR types. They want to ban everything. I mean, look at this. Look at all these guns they're trying to ban. It's like, you might as well ban, like, every gun in existence. Just write, we're banning all guns. Period. Just write that. That's what you're doing here. I mean, seriously, what the hell is this? This is actual legislation that they're trying to pass. People aren't up in arms about this. I mean, look at this crap. It's unbelievable. Just look at this list. Look at this thing. Keeps going. And we go through their definitions and all their boilerplate. Here you go, look. I guess these are the ones that are exempted. Probably a bunch of useless fucking thing. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Ugh. So we need to stand up against this. This is a direct attack on, the second. This is the destruction of the Second Amendment. Like, that's what this is. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to destroy the Second Amendment with this bill. It's exactly what this is. Okay? See, there's 3 people watching now. Very nice. Yeah, I can link to that bill. When I post this up on Steemit, this will be up on there with all the links. So definitely check out the Steemit post later. That's where all this stuff will be. So 3 whole people watching now on the Titus Frost 1984 channel. If you're not there now, head over immediately. I'm sure there's oh, nice. Got a comment on the Twitch. KJ Maccabee. Welcome back. Thank you, sir. Welcome here, or fine lady. Don't know what you are, but thank you for watching. Anyways, there's also this they've linked. So the last one is HR 5087. That's Congress. It's called the Assault Weapons Ban of 2018. I will put the link in the description box. Obviously, this video you're watching now is fairly controversial. I'm talking about a lot of stuff regarding Parkland. So I will be deleting this video by 11 o'clock tomorrow at the latest. So definitely expect this video to be gone off YouTube. It'll be on DTube and BitChute and everywhere else but YouTube, because I'm not going to take a strike from them. So this is basically me giving YouTube the information, and then later it'll be only on BitChute and DTube to watch, because this is the type of stuff that YouTube won't let us talk about anymore. But as long as I live stream it and only 3 people are watching it right now, I can probably get away with this. Sandy Whitewater came over from Periscope. Nice to see you. And I'll shout out to everyone on Periscope as well. Thank you all for watching, and I will go through and look at all the comments later when I watch the rebroadcast of this on Periscope. I'll watch that. So if you are commenting there and liking, I will see all the little heart things and all the comments and stuff when I watch the rebroadcast there. So thank you so much for watching on Periscope. Anyways, there's this other bill as well, which is HR 4918, Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2018. And in this, the domestic terrorists that they're worried about are all these people running government. Like, the Clintons and Podesta and all that. So they name them all in here as domestic terrorists. And then they say they're not allowed to have guns because they're absolutely psychopathic. Oh, wait, no, that's not what the bill says. Ugh, shit. What does it actually say then? The bill authorizes domestic terrorism unit within the Office of Intelligence and Analysis of the Department of Homeland Security, monitoring and analyzing domestic terrorist activity, blah, 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 blah. My suggestion to these guys is, if you see the CIA walking someone on the plane, that's a domestic terrorist. Domestic terrorism section within the counterterrorism division of the FBI shall be responsible for investigating domestic terrorism activity, such as when people call in multiple times to tell them that Nicholas Cruz has lost his mind and they do absolutely nothing about it. Oh wait, that happened, yeah. DHS, DOJ, and FBI shall annually submit to Congress a joint report authored by such offices, which shall include an assessment of domestic terrorism threat posed by white supremacists. That's who the real threat is. It's those white supremacists. They got you guys. And I'm certainly not a white supremacist. I'm just not. Obviously, I believe we're all one race, the human race. So I think white supremacy is completely retarded. However, I will say that they're probably, I mean, if you want to talk about domestic terrorists, you're probably talking about people that are connected to the FBI, people that are connected to the CIA, stuff like that. You know, all the Zionists that are in this country, those are domestic terrorists that you should be worried about. All the Jesuits here, you know. I think that's what they should be worried about. I'm sure that's not their definition of it. I'm sure their definition is like people that believe in the Constitution and things like that. If George Washington was alive today, he'd be one of their domestic terrorists, basically. An analysis of incidents or attempted incidents of domestic terrorism that have occurred in the United States since 95, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they're passing, you know, a new thing here to create more, you know, spying on everyone and taking away your rights and declaring white supremacists are domestic terrorists and all this stuff. So there's your Charlottesville thing, right? That's probably stemming directly from that whole false flag situation there in Charlottesville. So you're just seeing how all this is coming together and, you know, combining to just like demolish the Bill of Rights, basically. So there's another bill that we need to fight against. And you can write your... This is how you do it. Do you want to know how you stop this type of crap from happening? You write your congressman, who never hears from anyone on anything, and you tell them or call them and tell them you oppose this bill and you want them to oppose it, and you tell them why. They will listen to you. It's their job to listen to you. No one has the balls to call them other than like me and maybe Ryan Dawson and like a few other people in the truth community. And they want to hear from you. Okay? So call them and tell them if they support this, that you're going to vote for anyone but them the next election, and you're going to tell everyone else you know to do the same. Okay? So hold them accountable. Let them know you're holding them accountable so they don't sign on to the stuff and screw us all over forever. Okay? So this I thought was interesting. All those people that are all like, oh, you know, Donald Trump is the greatest thing since sliced bread and all this. Certainly he's way, way better than Hillary Clinton. Okay? But saying that is, you know, not much. Okay? And here's what he's doing in terms of this gun proposal stuff. He's basically throwing us under the bus here. Okay? Like, he's just hook, line, and sinker going for this crap. He could go down as the gun-grabbing president. Okay? And the Second Amendment is, like, massively important. Okay? So, this is definitely not hashtag MAGA, right? You know, MAGA would be making America great again. I don't know what this is doing, but with people like Feinstein pushing for this, I mean, just watch this video here and tell me that this doesn't make you, if you're a Trump supporter, tell me this doesn't make you question Trump a little bit, okay?
Just doing something on this background check issue and using that as a base, and then I would like to add some of these other things we've talked about, I think would make a major difference.
So if you could add that to this bill, that would be great, Diane. If you could add what you have also, and I think you can, into the bill.
Joe, are you ready?
Can you do that? Joe, can you do that? Pat?
Oh my God, look at that face.
Some of the things you're not going to agree with.
Yeah, you help.
Well, no, I'll help, but can you add what Amy and what Diane have? Can we add them in?
Ugh. You should never say anything that makes that witch smile like that, ever. Okay? And the fact that Trump is like basically jumping right onto this, you're afraid of the NRA. Who cares about the NRA? The NRA has like no power compared to some of these anti-gun lobbies, okay? Like George Soros. All right? So don't even get me started. George Soros alone has way more lobbying power than the NRA. So, I mean, to constantly point at them as the reason why legislation's not getting passed. No, the reason why they're not passing legislation is we have this thing called the Second Amendment. I don't know if you ever read it, but it says shall not be infringed in it, which means all of these laws that you guys keep passing are not constitutional. And you want to talk about having background checks for people that are mentally ill? Really? Really? The government is going to go around, a government run by mentally ill people is going to go around and tell us that they're going to decide who's mentally ill and who can have weapons. Right. Because that makes sense. And why do I say the government's run by mentally ill people? It is. Our government, as pointed out here in this Corbett thing, our leaders are psychopaths. Okay, they are. It's an undeniable fact. These people are psychopaths. So if anyone should not be allowed to have guns, it would be the government. So let's de-arm the governments. No more militaries. They're talking about, hey, we shouldn't be allowing people under the age of 21 to have guns. Well, let's apply that to the military too then. No one under 21 is allowed to have a gun in the military. No one under 21 in the military is allowed to operate a weapon. If that's what you're going to do to civilians, it's only fair to say that people in the military held to the same rules as the rest of the society that they're protecting. Okay? And it's interesting, if you're going to be taking guns away from mentally ill people, then do you think that mentally ill people should be allowed to have the nuclear button? What can do more damage? A mentally ill person with their finger on an AR-15 trigger, or a mentally ill person with the power to start a war for profit of multinational corporations and banksters? And what has happened and killed more people in the past? An individual going in with an AR-15 and shooting up someplace, or a government leader starting some stupid goddamn war that benefits no one and kills millions of people? I wonder what's happened more. I wonder who's killed more people. Oh, that's right, the government. So the government has absolutely no right, so long as it's run by psychopaths, to tell us that psychopaths can't have guns. It's just hypocrisy at its finest level. So I'm just going to play a tiny bit of this clip from the Corbett report.
Psychopathy, like schizophrenia, is one of those psychological disorders that have entered into the popular vernacular despite the fact that most people don't know what it means. Taking a cue from episode 88 of the Corbett Report podcast, You Are Being Programmed, it seems that we've been programmed to associate psychopathy with this.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
It's kind of like
Podesta. Every good lie, the misconception that all psychopaths are deranged serial killers and likely cannibals has an element of truth to it, insofar as it is easily enough demonstrable that psychopaths are overrepresented in the penal system, and yes, of course, many of the famous serial killers from history have been clinical psychopaths, such as a Ted Bundy, for example. But, of course, elementary logic tells us that just because many criminals and serial killers are in fact psychopaths does not mean that all psychopaths are criminals and serial killers. In fact, what's even more disturbing is the idea that there are many psychopaths that we encounter in our daily lives without ever knowing that these people are in fact psychopathic. This, of course, starts to get into the area of what exactly is a psychopath anyway, and how exactly do you tell if someone is a psychopath? Well, for the past 4 decades, the person that most people have turned to for that answer is Dr. Robert Hare. He is a professor emeritus at the University of British Columbia and a renowned psychopathologist and psychophysiologist who helped develop the clinical diagnostic test for psychopathy almost 35 years ago. Dr. Hare's very informative website on the subject can be found at hare.org, and on there you'll find a link to some articles that have been written about Dr. Hare's work, including an article called Psychopaths Among Us by Robert Hirsch. And I'd like to quote from that article. Quote, "Like every scientist, Hare likes a good puzzle, and that was reason enough to make a career out of psychopaths. These were particularly interesting human beings," he said. "Everything about them seemed to be paradoxical. They could do things a lot of other people could not do. Lie, steal, rape, murder. But they looked perfectly normal, and when you talked to them, they seemed okay. It was a puzzle. I thought I'd try and unravel it." Hare arrived at UBC in 1963.
Okay, so you get the point. So they're defining what a psychopath is, and basically throughout this 50-minute long film, which I'm not going to play all of, however, you should absolutely go and watch. They describe how our leaders perfectly fit the description of psychopaths. And these are the same leaders trying to gaslight us into believing that we should be having our guns taken away from us while they should be increasing the military budget for them. It's the definition of hypocrisy, to say the least. Okay, so moving along from that, nice to see everybody in the chat. If Trump is one of them, why is he hated by everyone in mainstream media and Hollywood? Says AC. And here's my response to you, AC. If they really hated Trump, wouldn't they just ignore him? You ever heard the saying, all press is good press? In all the attacks, what good did they do to him other than bring more people to his side? They know mainstream media is failing, and they know people don't trust it at all. So when mainstream media attacks someone like Trump, all it does is give him more, recognition for people and more validation for people that he's legit in their mind. Okay? And my thing is this. Trump's like longtime friends with the Clintons, and there was a year-plus long investigation into Trump that went nowhere, while Hillary Clinton and all of those people weren't investigated, okay, and are still at large. Podesta and all of them are still at large. All the Pizzagate conspirators are still at large, okay? And, what's being done about it? Nothing, as far as I can tell, okay? So it's very frustrating to sit here and all you can do is base your analysis on reality. And the reality is that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is passing that bill I just had up on the screen, 5087. She's a signature on that, to take away your Second Amendment right. She's not in jail. There's been no draining of the swamp. We still have a major effing problem on our hands. And so far, electing Trump has done very little to solve that. Very little. In fact, the guy's now aiming at taking your guns away. So just like I said before, he may have been a better choice than Hillary, and no one would make the argument otherwise. I mean, it'd be like, the only one worse than Hillary would be like Satan himself. Okay? So no one would make the argument that we should have put Hillary in there, other than to say that if they had put Hillary in there, maybe the only investigation that would have taken place is into her, and she'd already be in jail. Okay? So, because why would they investigate Trump for a year plus if he wasn't president? They wouldn't. It would be all on her, and she'd probably never have lasted because she's so goddamn corrupt that there's no way they could have cleared her. Okay? So it's a hard situation to understand, and you do have to take into consideration the fact that Hillary and Trump are friends going way back in time. Just go back and look at those wedding photo pictures and stuff like that. Okay? So another interesting thing I wanted to say about this whole Parkland thing is this. Speaking of Clinton and all them. Sheriff Israel Obama. See if I can't get images to pop up here for y'all. Yeah, here we go. Check this guy out. Here's Sheriff Israel with Biden. Here he is with Bernie Panders. Here he is with serial killer Hillary Clinton, right? So this guy is connected, okay? And what else took place in Broward County? Do y'all remember Broward County? Barrington Wisenhunt. Right? This dude found dead. Barrington Wisenhunt found dead in Broward County. Right? Same place that's run by Sheriff Israel. And mysterious death of federal prosecutor in Hollywood Beach ruled a suicide in Sheriff Israel's county. So when you see stuff like that, you know, that tells me there might be good people on the inside fighting against these bad people. And, you know, maybe they thought Trump would be their guy to lead that charge or something, but it seems to me like he's compromised. But there could still be good people on the inside fighting against the corruption, like this guy who got wiped out for it. And where did he get wiped out for it? In Broward County, which is run by Sheriff Israel. Okay? And who's Sheriff Israel? You know, he's a Talmud professing guy connected to Clinton, connected to Biden, connected to all of those types of people. Okay? So that's pretty goddamn damning. Okay? So talk about that for connections there, right? So anyways, I'll close all that up. People still in the chat. I don't know. It says 6 are watching now. Twitch seems to still be going. Let's refresh this just so I can see. No. Okay. I don't know, the chat's not loading for me, as you can see. And probably some bandwidth issues. Anyways, Oregon law allows 18-year-olds to buy guns. 20-year-old Oregonian tried to buy a gun and was refused by Dick's and Walmart. Has now filed discrimination lawsuit. So basically, Dick's and Walmart has decided to change their, customer policy and state that they're only going to sell guns to people over 21, I believe, which is, once again, that's a private business, so they can do whatever they want. Just like, a Christian business, in my mind, should have the right to, deny service to anyone they feel like. It's your own personal private business. You should be able to do whatever you want with it. Unfortunately, that means Dick's and Walmart should be allowed to deny sale of anything they want to anyone. But that also means that we can boycott Dick's and Walmart. And I've already said we should be boycotting Walmart like a long, long time ago. I don't know why you'd be buying anything there anyways. So if you weren't already boycotting Walmart with me, now's the time to join. You can join the boycott. Come on. You know it. Join it. Boycott Walmart. Companies just you want me to go into their connections, the FEMA? Do I need to go there? Do we need? No, not tonight. Okay. But just know, if you Google that, you ADL, snowflakes over there at Google, if you go ahead and use Google to search that, FEMA's connection to Walmart, you'll find some pretty interesting stuff. And you should all be boycotting Walmart. Okay? This article shouldn't have caused that. You should have been boycotting Walmart a long time ago. Okay? So I'll just reiterate that. I'm going to go through my Twitter feed here because there's a lot of stuff and I didn't want to have to pull it all up. Gon's Face Like the Sun is advocating for ethos.io wallet whenever it comes out, so that might be something interesting for people to take a look at. Something I still need eyes on and signatures for, and I want people to start screenshotting this because they're definitely manipulating this like a ton, is my petition to ban the United Nations from the US for their human rights abuses. Okay? And if this one gets to 30 days and we don't get the signatures, you know what I'm going to go ahead and do? Start a new one. And this time I'll do it with a correct title, so I'll fix the misspelling there in the title. However, we'll just keep doing it until this passes. This will be a lifetime thing. We're going to get rid of the United Nations from this country. I don't care how long it takes. We're just going to keep doing this. I'll find a new reason every month to create a petition to get rid of the United Nations. We're going to get rid of them. And from now on, before you sign this thing, please screenshot the signatures because they're definitely manipulating this. Look, 790 signed. Come on. This thing was at 500 people signed within 24 hours and it's still no. So they've just manipulated this and they're not letting it get to where it should be. So let's keep passing this around, keep signing it. It's important to make them address this type of thing, okay? So let's at least do that because we don't want 3,300 pedophiles with free reign to the United States, okay? So if we can take out 3,300 of them at once by banning the United Nations, that is a very easy to do thing and should be done immediately, okay? 3,300 of them at once, at one time. Okay, can we do that? Can I get some more signatures, please? Can I get more than 700 people? Let's think about it this way. The United Nations has, according to the report, 3,300 pedophiles. We only have 700 Americans that are willing to sign a petition to ban them. There's more pedophiles than there are people who give a shit. That's what that tells me. That's sad. That's a sad commentary. Very sad. Okay? If we can't get more than 790 signatures on something this important, it's a few mouse clicks. It doesn't cost you anything. Can you guys do something other than just watch conspiracy videos? It's frustrating. I don't make YouTube videos so that I can make YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos to raise awareness so that we can make changes in this world. Not just so I can keep doing this forever. Okay? I have kids. I want a better world. I don't want the shit to go on forever. Can we please do these tiny, stupid little things that we're trying to do, like sign a petition. Like, I know some people out there are like, oh, it's not going to do anything. How do you know if you don't even try? Like, so frustrating. And if you don't like the way I wrote it, go make your own. And, you know, see how you do, you know. I'll sign yours. Just send it to me. Okay? I'll share it too. So, sorry for getting frustrated, but it's hard because, like, you don't do this stuff just to, like, make videos. I'm doing this to, like, actually show people what's going on out there and try to help. You see this, Faith and Freedom Foundation. Child sex trafficking is a $32 billion industry that exploits the weakest and most vulnerable in our society. Together we can end it. Tell your senator to vote yes on the Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. Okay? So, just Google that. Look it up if you want. But go and look up your senator. It's not hard to find who your senator is. And write him an email and tell him that you support this. Just copy and paste that and tell him you support this act. And you want them to support it. And if enough people write to their senators about that, maybe we can get enough senators to support it. Not foundation, coalition, sorry. This right here. Okay. So, I don't know if you remember a bunch of videos back, but I was telling y'all how Hillary Clinton's, like, failed campaign staff got hired by Mark Zuckerberg, like, right out of the gate after she lost. So I found it interesting the other day that Facebook was putting this out there. Facebook says asking users about sexual pictures from children was a mistake. Okay? So go and look at this, and basically, Facebook says it made a mistake after it asked users in a poll if it should allow child predators to ask children for sexual photos on its platform. The odd admission comes after Facebook prompted some of its users with a survey asking about acceptable behaviors on its platform. And then they came back out and said, oh yeah, they made an error. A follow-up question in the survey asked users who should be in charge of deciding policies around, quote, an adult man asks a 14-year-old girl for sexual pictures and gave the option for letting Facebook users decide the rules by voting. Like, are you kidding me? That's what this thing was about, Facebook. And this Mark Zuckerberg guy that runs this thing, he's basically hired Hillary's campaign staff to help him go on a presidential run in the next election cycle. So, you know, see, you might want to say, it seems to me like these people are all connected in what you would call like a ring. You know, like Mark Zuckerberg hires the Clinton campaign staff, which is all the same people that all surrounded her. And, you know, they're all connected, and Facebook helped manipulate things to help her win and favor her and all this stuff. And then you have like Google who helped, and Eric Schmidt who's all connected to her and all this. So you could like say like they're all in a ring together, like a big, you know, might even call it a conspiracy, right? You know that term that everyone hates but loves? And basically, since they're all connected to this pedophilia type stuff and they're in a ring together, you could call it a pedophile ring, right? Might be the best term for it. Just saying. So, that's the thing that was put out here by Facebook. So I thought that was fairly interesting, obviously. So I wanted to share that all with you. Another thing here. So David Hogg, I see, I followed him on Twitter. And every time he tweets out, I try to respond back to him to trigger some people. And oh my God, is it going well. Like, whew, it's so easy to do. As soon as he tweets something out, you just tweet something like this back at him. So I said, how does it feel to be the poster boy for the assault on the First and Second Amendment in America? Which is true. Because if you say what you really think about him on YouTube, you get your channel deleted, like what happened to me and a whole bunch of other people. So he literally is, and he's leading the assault on the Second Amendment. I just showed you that bill they're trying to pass, the assault weapons thing. Yeah. So he's basically the poster boy for that. And that's what I said to him, which is 100% truth. That's everything I said there's the truth. I just proved it, this whole broadcast. And you should see some of the responses I got. What do you think? People were nice. They were like, yeah, you're so right, Titus. You're the man. Thanks for speaking the truth. Not quite. Let's take a look here. How does it feel to share a child with your sister? 190 likes on that. 190 likes on that. So I said to that guy, want to go pop some rounds off together, bro? You bring yours, I'll bring mine. And this is actually true. I always have something on me. And he goes, I don't need a gun to prove my manliness. Ask your sister. So I said, so what, no face-to-face meeting thing? You sure? I'll be armed, but don't let that frighten you. You don't need a gun, remember? And he says, are you threatening me? No, I'm not threatening you, dude. How is that a threat? I just said I want to meet face-to-face with you, and I'll be armed. How is that a threat? It's not. You're just scared and a bitch. Moving on. Lulz, can you imagine? Oh, this guy goes, David, I'm sure you knew you were going to have to put up with a lot of stuff, but could you ever have imagined having to take crap from a guy named Titus Frost? Hatch Act. And so I said, Lulz, can you imagine if a guy named Titus Frost trolled you as well? Mind blown. So, and you can just go down through this. I mean, holy God, did these people, Titus, we're your parents' siblings. This is dramatic much? Oh my God. I'm guessing that he's fine with it, and he wishes you well in your life as we all do. Thank you, Sasha. Laugh out loud English. He's not, so sit down, says Aquamarine. How does it feel to be attacking 17-year-olds? I'm not attacking them, I'm just stating a fact. This girl gets it. Not all of us are mean. Some of us just want to protect our Second Amendment rights. It's okay for those people to speak out who are anti-gun, but God forbid if anyone speak out who are pro-gun. Sounds a little it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical, not hypothetical. But good comment otherwise. Should probably hit a little spell check on that and change it to hypothetical for. That's why you gotta always. Please don't harass mass shooting survivors. Gosh, leave him alone. Just leave David alone. God. No. I bet this guy. Oh, Titus, grow up. There's no assault on the First or Second Amendment. There are, however, frequent assaults and, gosh, murders committed by people who shouldn't have guns in the first place. Yes, like your own government. Like your own government funding and arming the Saudis to kill children in Yemen. Hashtag go cry elsewhere. Okay, so that's how you deal with liberals. Okay, you just give it right back at them because they're complete fake social justice warriors. They endorse completely bullshit causes that basically have no meaning. This lady here, her response was better than the face of death. So she's basically saying I'm the face of death. I'm not the face of death, okay? Like, I'm just not. Like, sorry. But I can show you someone who might be. This person here, Azrael, the Grim Reaper, one of my followers. You know, he's one of the people who helped come up with the, you know, using the anonymous mask and all that. He is the Grim Reaper, so if you wanted to see the face of death, that would be the face of death right there. So, there you go, Shirley Moore. Hope you enjoy. Okay, and then for tomorrow, because I don't have time to cover this tonight, I actually have to wrap up fairly shortly here. I will be getting into this. This was a joint investigation by Delete the Elite, Anon Hive, and the Honeybee, and huge props to all of them. And it looks like we have something even bigger and worse than Pizzagate. Okay? And this goes straight to the top, to the Vatican. So this is my little preview for you all. I'm going to be personally digging much more into this story myself. So expect a bombshell report by me on this once I dig into this. And this will obviously be highlighted this week in Spitting Truth with Titus, which should be show 35 still, which will hopefully be this weekend, as this is just a live stream. One thing I will be setting up, I know Lift the Veil has like a call-in number thing. We're going to be setting that up for this show, for Spitting Truth with Titus. Going to be adding a call-in number for y'all to call in, so we can have guests call in, and I can interact with you live on call-ins. And I will be harsh with you, so be prepared when you call in, and hopefully some of you will put me to the heater too. So should be interesting and quite fun. So that will be coming up. I hope to have more good guests. I hope to do lots more good interviews. I'm trying to set up an interview with Abel Danger for one. So there's one interview possibly on the horizon coming up for you all. I'm still working on my Google Amazon trafficking documentary. And just remember, this live stream you're watching now will only be available on YouTube until 11 o'clock tomorrow. So, and that's in the morning. So if you don't download it by then, you'll only be able to watch it on DTube and BitChute, okay? So this will be mirrored on those other channels, but it'll be gone as of 12 o'clock tomorrow on YouTube, so I don't get hit with strikes, okay? So enjoy it while it lasts on YouTube, but it's not going to last forever on YouTube. It will last forever on the internet, so you're not going to lose this broadcast or the information. It'll all be up on Steemit in the morning, and I will make sure to have all of this downloaded, and I'll re-upload this on DTube and all that for you all, so you can all watch this again. But this type of video can't be up on YouTube anymore. So this has a shelf life on YouTube, and that shelf life is tomorrow at 11. As for that, I gotta go. Gotta let my fiance go to sleep, and I gotta watch the baby so she can sleep for a couple hours. So peace, y'all. Have a wonderful night. Take care. God bless you all. And thank you for watching. Please follow me on Steemit, DTube, BitChute, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, all those places, ONG. All the links will be in the Steemit show notes and on the YouTube show notes. I thank you all very much for watching live tonight. And I thank you all for all the information you guys send me. And I have a whole bunch of other stuff going on. I've just been super busy with no power for 4 days. So I wanted to cover all this news. And there's tons more to cover I didn't even get into tonight. So please stay tuned. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you don't miss the live streams while they last on YouTube, because they're not going to last long. So you better subscribe so that you can actually be notified when these videos pop up if you want to watch them on YouTube. because they ain't going to last on YouTube. I have to take them off after a short while. All right? Peace, everybody. Thank you again for watching. God bless. Take care.